Hello, sir. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. For my mid-semester exam, I'm going to explain about our previous lesson, which is morphology. So first of all, morphology is the branch of linguistics and also one of the major components of grammar. This branch of linguistics specifically studies about word structures, especially regarding morphemes, which is the smallest unit of a word or language with meaning. That meaning is how language conveys messages. And when a certain numbers of letters are put together to form a word that now has a meaning, there we have a morphology, a morpheme. Morphology studies how these units of meaning or word parts can be arranged in the language. There is an analogy that tells us to imagine of letters as a bunch of pieces of wood and morphemes as a wall. So we don't immediately get a wall with those woods until we start nailing all of them together. And when all the walls are already together, we have a complete house with us. Or in language, you finally have a complete meaningful sentence. So according to Boyd in 2005, he says morphology, the study of the internal structure of words, deals with the forms of lexemes or inflection and with the ways in which lexemes are formed or word formation. New words are made on the basis of patterns of form meaning correspondence between existing words. Paradigmatic relationships between words are therefore essential, and morphology cannot be conceived of as the syntax of morphemes or syntax below the word level. So there are two types of morphemes. One is bound morpheme and free morpheme. Bound morpheme is a morpheme that must be attached to another morpheme in order to form a word, while a free morpheme can stand as an independent word without any other morpheme accompanying it. So there are also two types of bound morphemes, which is prefix and suffix. So a prefix is an affix which is placed before the stem of a word. So we add it to the beginning of one word to change it into another word. And then a suffix is an affix which is placed after the stem of a word. So the examples of prefix is dis, which means not or opposite of. For example, disconnect, which means the opposite of connect or not connecting. So and then there is mis or mis, which means wrongly. For example, misconception. It means wrong conception. And then the examples of suffix. First is al, which means the action or process of. For example, approval, which means the the process of approval. And then dom or dom, which means place or state of being. For example, freedom, which means the state of being free. Finally, we are going to talk about the research object that has to be included in the study research regarding morphology. In my opinion, we have to include an object that talks about the study itself, such as the forming of morphemes in a certain language, the meaning of the combination of the morphemes, how to translate morphemes in a certain language, the words that are far easier to understand. In a morphology study research, we should also include the definitions given by the experts to further understand about the basic knowledge of the morphology. For example, in Indonesia, we also have several combinations of morphemes such as tikus kantor, which literally means mouse, office mouse. But in English, when we translate it into English, it doesn't literally mean mouse office mouse. It means character, because the analogy is that mouse likes to steal, and when a mouse is in an office, it means that someone in a higher position that likes to steal money from the office, which then imply as being a character. It is tikus kantor. So that's my example of Indonesian language research using morphology. I think that's all I can explain about morphology. Thank you.